Well, hello, everybody. This is day one, Experience 2. I'm your host, your Zav Zan at Zefinitely Connected. I just want to say thank you for being here to help me launch Zefinitely Connected, my new brand, my new adventure. Well, stay tuned or follow me on all socials, Zefinitely Connected, so that you can get updates and more information about the show or the brand. I have two people that's coming up on stage shortly. I'm going to put their pictures up right here. Kaayla and Chris Salem. Chris, I've known him for a long time, but I wanted to show you a little bit more information about the show. Connected Conversations Live is really where passionate change makers explore deeper stories that inspire powerful connections and community transformations. And basically, I wanted to do this to kind of like, hey, it's a celebration. Who do I call? So for those who were not able or who are not able to attend my in-person launch on November 1st, right here in Connecticut, I say, hey, like Canadians, like Malaysian friends, I wanted them to be on the show to celebrate with me. So I do have a few friends this next 2 days, total of 12 global inspiring leaders sharing their stories of, powerful connections and community transformations. I just can't wait for you to kind of like, hear their story because we're going to do deep dive. We're not doing the fluff. Okay, we're going to do the real stuff. You all know that I do real stuff. So let me bring them on. And I'm so excited to introduce you, Kaayla from Canada. Hi, Kaayla. Whoop, whoop.
Hello,
And we have
beautiful.
Chris. Hi. I'm going to exchange places with Chris so that I can highlight you both. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Zeph, doing great. Great to be here.
I feel great. And before we started, remember, we were just talking about this, Chris. Like, Chris, you attended my very first launch in 2011 under the different name, the different brand. And we talked about that. How many years has that been?
It's been probably about over 13 years.
Can you imagine? This is the power of yes connections, people.
I actually had dark brown hair then.
I was just saying that too, and I was probably like 30 pounds more. So I'm like, hey, we'll all age differently, but who cares? We all bring experiences that we can share with the world and inspire them to grow. Anyways, and Kaayla, I remember my first time meeting you. We were at the Be Life. Yes, doing a shout out for Be Life anyways, but we're on StreamYard. But we were at this Be Life birthday bash online, and I remember you came on screen, you go like, I like your energy. And I'm like, huh? What? I remember that. And I said, oh, this is somebody I'd like to get to know more. And we've been connected since that time, since that birthday bash, right? I can't even remember how long.
Well, and actually,
10 years.
you also had me on some show, one of your shows. I can't recall it. It was quite a while ago. But that's how I met my virtual assistant, Crystal. She was a guest on your show, and I just kind of jumped in, and it was like, the connections are all there. We just have to follow the energy.
Follow the yellow brick road and the little nuggets that get dropped. But anyways, before we really dive into the conversation, I want to give you both a minute each to kind of introduce yourselves so that, our viewers out there who's watching or tuning in right now, make sure y'all comment in the comments wherever you're watching so that I can say hello to you. We can say hello to you and have a good shout out and maybe engage a little bit more with our guests. So I'm going to let Chris go first, and then I'm going to have Kaayla come on.
Well, thank you so much, Zeph, for putting this together. My name is Chris Salem. I'm a happily married man to my wife, Maria, and a proud father of my son, CJ, who is a senior at high school going on to college. In my professional life, I'm a business acceleration strategist and a professional keynote speaker. I work with business leaders and their businesses and helping them through the right value proposition messages how to accelerate sales, revenue, and profit to increase their valuation in their businesses. And as a professional speaker now for over 24 years at leading industry B2B, B2C conferences, I now today, over the last 11 years, help other professionals, don't have to be a professional speaker, how to use speaking as a platform to create more impact and grow your business significantly from it and leveraging your content.
Boom. Thank you, Chris. And here you go, Kaayla.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kaayla. I am one of these people that came in with a particular muscle flexed and ready to go. very intuitive and able to see energy and track it all the way to its core. That includes beliefs, patterns, beliefs that you've taken on, beliefs that have been placed upon you, to release, relinquish them, and transmute them back to light, or take them all the way back to point of creation, to create space for you to embody more and more of your higher heart and live in flow, ease, and grace. And so it's a very accelerated process. You just have to be willing to show up. So,
Love it.
yeah, I've worked with people all over the globe, pretty much, yeah, everywhere,
Thank you
actually.
so much. Thank you so much. I love this. I love that I'm bringing this to people. I love the fact that, we had some backstage conversation, which I will share a bit. But for all of you who are new here and just tuning in, like, oh, who is this? I'm Zaf Zan. So this show, Connected Conversations Live, is an inspiration for me in launching my new brand called Zefinitely Connected. And it's a story for a different day, and how I got the name Zefinitely for the brand. It is all about, okay, I'm having a nudge right now because I have Zaf Goosies. The joke earlier in the show today was, if we have a lot of goosebumps, we will lose hair like entirely. So I said to Jay and Rukshana, who was on the show earlier, that means I will have no hair later, because basically I'll have tons of Zaf Goosies to kind of share with all of you. But I'm here just kind of sharing with all of you that this new brand focuses a lot on amplifying the human experience, and the work that I do will continue to help people build yes connections like Kaayla and Chris, 13 years, 10 years, and they still show up in community. We all still show up for each other, and that's the kind of community and connections that I wish to inspire through the new brand. All right, that's enough of me. I want to tell all of you to just drop your chats, and we're going to have this talk and engagement and chat. And I know Chris has to leave like by 8:30, so I want to let Chris go first. But Chris, I wanted to start the conversation because I don't know where the conversation will go. Whatever the energy flows, that's going to be our content for the show. We don't plan. We just get notched and we go, ding, ding, we go. I know you do a lot of speaking, and your focus work is on EQ, emotional intelligence. What is something that has really inspired you when you go out there and you meet people and you work with them, help them grow as individuals, whether it's mindset, in their personal brand, in their personal lives? What has right now, I want a story, like no fluff, that you see that you're either inspired or you're inspiring others to create powerful connections and community transformation? Because I think both connection and community, they're interrelated. They cannot survive without the other. So please share. And if you want me to share your the pictures, let me know so that I can put it up.
Sure, absolutely. Well, just to answer your question about being inspired and inspiring others, it's a two-way street. See, I have to choose to be inspired. That's not something that I get inspired by something outside of me. I have to choose that before I even show up in that situation. So when I wake up every day, I have a daily routine that I do. I meditate, I journal, I work out, I make my bed, I read, I review my daily goals. I get my mindset into the present moment to say, okay, my intentions of today are to be inspired. Even if I'm not feeling that maybe at that point, I'm choosing to be regardless. So when I show up in that situation, I'm already going to be inspired, and it's going to be through my communication, my behavior, in alignment with my communication, my attitude. It's happening for me, not to me. My emotions and how I respond versus react to people in situations, and my action to follow through. It's through those 5 things that I can control that I can be the example and be a resource for others to inspire them to do for themselves, to own those 5 things. See, the reality is I can't control those same 5 things in situations. I can only control it myself. So that's how I show up. Now, when it comes to helping people, I can't control what someone's going to do with what I share, but I come prepared to come deliver my A game, to share from the heart, not from the head, and be able to be as realistic coming from my core values. And I know this, many occasions this has happened, but I'll cite one time I was training an aerospace company, which I'll keep the name secret here because don't want to put anything out there about it. And there was an individual there, a woman who had been there for about 24 years. She was, she was very determined. She got things done, but she was hated by most people there. She had a hard time keeping staff because they didn't like working for her because she was a tyrant. Now, lo and behold, when I was definitely prepped before the workshop started that, she would be there and I may have to deal with, her looks, looking at me, not looking interested. And I said, that's fine. I'm not going to treat her any different. And I'm going to include her. And if she wants to participate, great. If she doesn't, she doesn't. Now, this was a 2-day workshop. And I can remember the first day, her arms were like this. She was looking out the window, like, why am I here? Everybody else is engaged. But I noticed that, throughout the day, she started to get a little bit, I could tell with her body language, started to loosen up a little bit. And by the second day, she was a little bit more looser in terms of her body language. She had not yet participated or talked. And I can remember when I asked a question and I looked at her and I said, I would love to include you. And she started to talk. And she still had this kind of this, voice that, I'm going to go through the motions, just get this over with. But as she began to talk, she suddenly stopped. And there was a pause for me. And everyone's looking, okay. And she started to cry.
Wow.
She started to cry. Everyone looked like it was like, what is going on here? Like, this woman has never displayed any type of emotion other than anger over the 24 years that she has been here. The HR director or the VP of HR is looking over at me like, stop this. I said, no, it's okay. Trust me. She was having a breakthrough. She finally came to terms that all these things that were happening to her, this attitude that I'm the victim, not, everything's happened to me, that she played a part. And she finally realized that no matter what deck of cards that you've been dealt, you're still responsible as an adult to do with it. So even though you came from a lot of trauma. Now, lo and behold, this woman ended up hiring me, and I worked with her for 4 years, and she had to overcome a lot of abandonment issues. Not literally she was abandoned, but emotionally abandoned. She was verbally abused, physically abused as a child, and she brought that into her adult life where she was very guarded, very straightforward with people, would talk down to them, but it was a way to buffer and protect herself. And as a result of that, she was able to come to terms with these self-limiting beliefs and this trauma from her childhood, that she didn't have to bring this further into her adult life. And she did make a shift in what, who she became and who she really was, but just pretended not to be for all those years, why she was so miserable. She made a 360-degree turn over a few years. And I could say today she's, retired now, but nonetheless was able to end her career on a good note with, people actually working with her and engaged. And, it was a true blessing in her life. Now, I'm not the reason, not taking credit for that. It's just, we were all here to play a part, and that was her time. And I'm very grateful to be a part of her journey to where she was and where she is now today. And everybody can do that. So no matter where you are, you're going to change. You want change in the world, you've got to be the change. You can't control other people.
Love it.
You can only control yourself. You just got to learn how to be in the present moment, not in the past and the future where fear thrives. And that's where the magic happens. It's the consistency of operating from intentions rather than expectations in the present moment that will allow you to do that. Now, I could expand more. There's a lot more to it, but I know Kaayla, that's what she does best, and I will leave it there.
Before we go to Kaayla, let me just put this up and also do a shout out. I want to say, hey, Shannon Malkin Daniels, you're in the room with us. Hello. And Shannon says, excellent work, Chris. She says, we carry the stories and scars of our childhood. Absolutely. And I will segue this to Kaayla in a minute, but I just want to show something that you shared with us. And this is the work that Chris does, and he goes into rooms. And tell us about this particular experience right here, Chris. I mean, where was this? What workshop is this?
Yeah, this was in Denver, Colorado, about a year ago. I was doing a keynote there for a group of entrepreneurs. So there was roughly about 300 something people in the room. Not a big event, but nonetheless, that we really had a lot of breakthroughs in terms of applying this from a business sense, overcoming the fear of moving your business to the next level. And so I was there to talk about various types of strategies to work on and not just in your business, and what, how a shift in our mindset can really play a big role in embracing challenges, seeing them as opportunities to turn into results, and not trying to resist the challenges, because without them, we can't move forward.
Love that. And I think this was also a picture. Oh my God, look at that. All the smiling faces. Chris
I
doing
love
the
that picture.
Yeah,
I love it.
almost a couple years ago, I was in San Diego here, where I was speaking to a radiologist. These were people that were
Wow.
senior level. They were, they ran radiology groups, big groups for big like medical groups in this case, from around the world. So they were at the senior level, and here we were talking about the different ways to create valuable patient experiences. So it was I've been speaking at this conference 8 years in a row, and I'm now part of the association as the only outsider, non-radiologist, or anything to do with the industry other than creating better leaders and creating better care teams to create
those experiences so that they can carry forward to create their own human experiences. Right. Love it. Kaayla, I want to kind of touch this because what comes up for me right now, and I feel like I'm being asked to kind of share this or bring this up to light, is, the perfect example that Chris gave just now was this woman, from a position of like, yep, not doing this, or a position of maybe trauma, right, and reacting in a different way because her body isn't letting her, or she's in some kind of belief system and wouldn't allow her to come up from her past experiences. Just like what Shannon said right here, we carry the stories and scars of our childhood. And the work that you do within your community, right, and you work with clients or group of people, communities who go through the same experiences. What is your methodology, or how are you encouraging or inspiring these connections to grow from that place of like, nope, to kind of loosen up a little bit,
Well,
it's so funny you're bringing that.
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask Kaayla to kind of feed on that.
Okay, yes, please do.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, of course, we're all in the same energetic role right now, because what I was going to bring up was, I just found it so fascinating when Chris was sharing that really beautiful experience, because it was beautiful, but how fascinating it was that because other people that were there witnessing this person having a very vulnerable moment that, gosh, has maybe not ever felt safe enough to have, their first instinct was cut it off, stop, take a break, do this. And he's just like, no. And this is the thing. It takes courage, and courage isn't like this egoic bravado. I'm going to, push through it. That was this. Now this beautiful person is in this space of, now I'm really being fiercely courageous, and I trust whatever this is that's happening, because it has nowhere left to go. So we're very similar in what we're doing. It's just the modalities are presenting in a different way. I mean, I came in gifted in being able to see energy from like the time I came into this particular live stream. It took me until 3 to figure out that not everybody else saw or experienced things the way I did, but it's just different. And we're going to magnetize those people into our live stream that are ready to have that shift, to have that change, and to recognize that we're not separate of anything. We are not our jobs. Chris is not, his title. I am not, whatever you're going to call me, the accelerator. He is not the accelerator. I mean, that is not who we are. We're beautiful beings here, having many experiences and choosing to step through and go, oh, okay, so I'm not going to blame that person for this. What is this actually triggering for me? Yeah. Because it's never, ever, ever, if anybody takes anything away from this today, it is never, ever about the other person. I don't care what kind of stories you've concocted, woven, created to keep yourself safe. It's never about the other person. Never.
Never.
I have to step through it every day. People trigger me. It happens. It happens to all of us. But then if you really choose to get quiet with it and look at yourself and go, okay, wait a minute. There's something connected to this. Just show me the truth. And you're asking your highest, purest levels to show you the truth beyond your ego.
Yeah.
You know, the ego is the defense, it's not my fault, it's your fault. It's keep yourself safe. It's all this protective stuff. But here's the thing. We should be able to be in any situation, in any, energy and feel good.
Yeah.
Even feel great. And so much so that you clear so much space to allow that higher vibration to come in and ripple out. And that's what Chris is doing. He's showing up. They're saying, can you come? Can you do this? And he's like, yes. Zaf's here. She's like, can you come? Can you do this? He's like, yes. And I've double booked myself, but I'm coming anyways. But he's choosing to show up.
I love that.
Right?
From the first show. I'm going to take note. If y'all watching this, whether it's live or on replay,
the universe will take care of the details.
100%. This is the second time this word has shown up tonight. It's really showing up. I get Zev goosies. It has been the joke. I was like, by the end of the week, I will not have hair on my arms or body because I have Zev goosies. Because Jay said, like, hey, you know, yeah, if you have goosies, you'll lose hair. I'm like, okay, I got it. But I think you're absolutely right. And the showing up, just show up, and then, you know, everything will rise with you. And I think, Chris, in your setup, in your environment that you kind of like visually created for us, I could visually see her crossing her arms, but the environment was safe. You created a safe environment. You create an environment that empowers her to kind of show up differently. And she had to make a choice at that point and go like, okay, am I going to be joyful, or I'm just going to like be sucky the entire experience right here? It was probably how many days was it? An hour, 2 hours, or 2 days?
It was 2 days.
She wants to stay like that forever. What's that, Chris?
It was 2 days.
There you go. She can't remain like that for 2 days, right? Yeah. Around people who probably, yeah, high five, I'm going to lift you up. And she can't just be like this the entire time. So you created a space for this community to thrive. And I think it also helped her. I know both of you probably do a lot of work with people that help them grow. And I've experienced this from a point where when we create a safe space, when we create a space that regardless of how you show up, we're going to lift you up. We're going to, you know, help you take that next step forward. However heavy your leg is, we're going to help you forward. There's no other way but to roll with that positive energy, and people tend to loosen up. And that's what I love about communities.
It's interesting. Go ahead, Kaayla. Though, because you've brought up, like, you know, positive energy, lifting you up, doing this, doing that. It is not always comfortable.
Yep.
I mean, she was uncomfortable. I've had people who are looking at me like, don't do this, don't go down that road. And it's like, well, this is what you're paying for. In my head, I'm like, well, I'm just agreeing to show up. But it's also, and I don't know, Chris, you can probably relate to this too. It's having compassion for where they're at in the journey and holding that space, but not getting sucked into the empathy where you're carrying them. Yeah. Because that's such a baloney path to go,
I would like to say compassion, but don't get sucked into sympathy. Sympathy
and empathy are just
empathy.
They'll suck you dry.
Empathy leads by example and resourcefulness. Sympathy pleases and enables them and tells them it's okay to feel sorry for yourself and to be stuck. And it just, all it does is drain them and drain yourself and everybody else around them.
Yes, and exactly. And for me, being an empath, empathy sucks the life out of me, because now I'm in your story. I'm feeling what you're feeling, and how am I going to assist you with that? Yeah. I'm not. So it's like having compassion and knowing that they have the ability to do this. You're holding space for them to remember who they are, beyond all the BS, beyond all the stories, beyond all the stuff. And I mean, the only thing that Chris and I probably do differently is how we move that energy. It's really, we all have superpowers. I don't care who you are. We all have superpowers, and it's probably something that you don't even think about. You just do it naturally. And Zeph, we were talking about this before we came on, because it's usually something that you just think everybody else can do. And it's like, oh, you can't do that? I didn't know that. It's like when I was a little kid. You can't see that? Did you not see that? You don't just see blah, 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 blah. And they're like, no, that's not all that fascinating, really. We just all have different superpowers, and how boring it would be if we were all the same.
I think that the thing is that, Kaayla, I think why people are us human, right? Not getting an amplified human experience, because we're always trying to fit in, because somebody says you got to do it this way, and then your programming says that you got to do it this way, and then you miss the gift or the magic that we already have, and we don't sharpen it, whether it's, your gift as a speaker, your gift as I don't know, as a spiritual leader, accelerator, a guest as a, author, like a gift as an author. Like, we miss the entire point, because their head on one side is just thinking like, oh, I attended the seminar and they say that I can do this. Not thinking that they, so I heard somewhere, and I love this, and it says about strategy versus spiritual, and spiritual always trumps strategy, because it is more connected to you as the human, and therefore you'll have a human experience. And something you said earlier, oh my God, I'm having
okay, can I cut in? Can I cut in? Because you're totally hitting on what we were talking about with the divine alignments. It's like, okay, you can strategize till the cows come home. You can do all this kind of stuff, but if the divine alignments aren't there, and we are all, hardwired for connection, we are all moving into this new energy of co-creation and collaboration. And if the divine alignments are not there, you are going to be pushing uphill. It's going to fall apart. And that's why we say to people, you know what? You can never get it wrong. Like, you can't get it wrong. If it's not the highest for you at that time, it will not come together. It will fall apart. That doesn't mean 100%. Don't do it. That means wait until you get a few nudges and you kind of actually see, well, there's the flow, and you jump on the wave.
Yeah.
Right?
I know, Chris, you have to go, but I just want to say thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And a pleasure, Kaayla, to meet you and share.
Oh my gosh, you too.
High five! High five! But before you go, I want to quickly acknowledge what you said earlier. Lead from the heart, not from the head. And I love that. People are not getting it, but thank you for bringing it out. So, Chris, thank you so much.
I'd be happy to serve another time. So I want to wish you much success with the new brand, and everybody, get on board.
Thank you. Bye, Chris. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Nice chatting.
I love that we're talking about this, Kaayla. I know we can go on and on. You and I can talk about this for days.
You and I could talk about just about nothing for days. We both.
I know. It's just something through your inspiration from me attending your community activations, your community, your thriving community. It gave me an opportunity to see all the different modalities that I can leverage to kind of grow as a human being, so I can have an amplified human experience, because I do feel that we are all magical beings living a human experience. So we have to figure out really quickly
why people come together. And sometimes we can magnetize people into our life streams who have experienced similar traumas, and there's sometimes trauma bonding. But then we can also magnetize people into our live streams who are at the same vibration of us, or maybe a little higher, maybe just close or whatever. And I love that you brought up the group activations that I do. It's so interesting, because I was guided to do them, and my ego was like, don't want to. It's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. It's just too much work. And now I'm doing them twice a month, and they're very, very affordable, because I want to make sure that I'm able to share my gifts as I'm meant to assist people to release some of this baggage. And it could be trauma. It could even be entities. Like, sometimes we have energies that we get into a funk or a place where we're just feeling really crummy. I mean, I had this one beautiful client one time. I mean, I still have her actually, but the very first time I worked with her, she came to me and she was just beside herself. She just said, somebody, so-and-so referred me to you. Just do what you do. I don't even want to talk to you. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. And so I was, kindly reminding her, and I was just doing what I do and just clearing energy. And she was really bombarded. Like, it was a lot, which also showed me that she's a super advanced being and she's here to be a way shower, because these other energies are trying to dim her light. And I was like, okay. I did a lot of work with her that particular session. She booked another session, and then we were able to have a conversation. And of course, I could see a lot of what she wasn't saying. And, it had gotten to the point she was interfered with so traumatically and badly that she was getting mental health, and which, of course, I would recommend that for sure. But she also reached out to me, and yeah, she's been great ever since. I mean, she's had a few instances, but then she also reached out to other people in the community and assisted that, and it has a ripple effect, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is sometimes energies can bombard us, and we can feel the energy of our community. We can feel the energy of, oh my gosh, mass consciousness, which can be really a lot. And so one of the things that I assist people to do too is to just really get back to themselves, get back to their heart. And remember, I mean, it kind of goes back to that thing. It's like, put on your own oxygen mask first. You can't assist everyone if you're not assisting yourself. And I know, Zeph, you and I talked about that. It's
so funny you brought that up. This is why I wanted to do the show, kind of talk like freely, like wherever the energy flows, that's what we're talking about, because really it is staying in the in a space where it's all about the connection, and then how it actually helps communities transform. I'm having goosebumps again. I'm not kidding. So this is why I think having a free flow conversation, whatever shows up, I wanted to do this because of my own experience, because I've experienced it. Like, sometimes I'm like fighting that energy, just like you're talking about the group activations. What happened is that when we fight it so much, it keeps showing up. It's either one or two things. You got to do it, right? Or you haven't done enough work to clear it up. And I'm like, what does that mean? And then I was shown, like, basically you just have to sit through it and figure it out. If you have to cry, you have to scream, you do it, because it's
you just let it happen.
Energy. Yes.
Because it really is. If you're talking about my group calls, it really is an accelerated experience. And it is unique to each individual that chooses to show up. Although we're there in a group, which I can share with you, it's like a template. I get shown templates of each individual person. It's like you're all there right in front of me, and everybody gets templated, and I get shown, the different beliefs, the different things that are maybe connected through the root chakra, which is survival, which is, air, water, just necessities to live. That is their survival. And there might be stuff clogging that up. So they're in fear of not having enough food, not having enough water, not having a place to live, not having enough money, not blah, 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 blah. And so we start to clear that out. And each group activation and clearing is unique. And I label them a year in advance, which is comical to me, because sometimes
I love it.
People say to me,
I love that you do that, because you know,
and, like,
and people,
I don't know.
People get to see it ahead. Love it. Love it. Well, all right. We can really go on and on and on, but I wanted to, before we leave, probably take a minute or so to kind of, so I asked this in the last show about, if there was a connection power tool kit, like the kit you would give somebody, like, hey, all right, here's my power toolkit for you to go and inspire powerful connections and transform communities. What are probably 1 to 3 tools or mindsets that you think we need to have to get there?
I would say every single morning before you get on with your day is find your light. Close your eyes.
I love that.
Close your eyes. Let your awareness drop in behind your eyes. Have a look around. Drop down through the throat. Drop down to where your heart is. Look around. You'll see your light. Turn it up. Turn it way up. Turn it up so high that you're just expanding and rippling out, and you are in your highest heart. The other thing you can do is just breathe into your highest heart. When you have those moments, maybe you're triggered and I don't have time to look at whatever that trigger was right now, and I'd like to just deal with it a little bit later on, and I promise I will look at it. It's like, put your left hand on your heart. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose and expand your belly all the way out so you're filling your lower lungs. And then slowly out through the mouth. Take another one all the way into the heart. And then wiggle your toes. And take one more. Wiggling your toes and slowly out through the mouth. And that is now you as you are, as a pure divine being. Like, even look, like I'm looking right now and I just did it and I'm like, wow, everything looks
and you
different.
feel it's a different energy.
It gets you back into this moment.
Yeah.
You know, and the other thing I would say is, you know, really be kind to yourself. You know, a lot of times we're super kind to other people, and it's like, I am telling you, gratitude is a gift. I was just recently hiking in Sedona, doing some energy work up there in the vortexes. And I had so many people say to me, how are you doing? Like random people I don't even know out on the mountains, you know, and you're sweating, you're just not looking real attractive.
Yeah.
You're not in the best moment, right? You're covered in dirt and dust and sweat and everything. And it's like, you get to maybe the top where there's a beautiful view or there's a cave, or maybe it's both things. And somebody says to me, how are you feeling? And I swear to you, every time I look at them, I was like, grateful. I am so grateful that I can do this. I am so grateful that I can be here. I am so grateful that I am feeling what I'm feeling. Like it was just gratitude. And it ripples out. Whatever you're doing ripples out. Look at people when you see them out in public. If you're going to the grocery store or whatever, I don't care who it is, you can find something that you find attractive about them, whether it's their t-shirt, their shoes, their laces, their hair, their eyes, their lips, their neck, whatever. Find something, compliment people. Do it all the time, but be genuine. It's got to be genuine.
Yep,
you know,
100%.
I would walk up to total strangers and say, oh my gosh, I love your orange earrings. Those are fantastic. And holy cow, can you pull it off? Literally.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you.
Me,
thank you so much. You just demonstrating that toolkit number one. I just think
I think I should put more tools in there, but yeah.
I know, but you know, that we'll have to save that for a different day, and we'll just have to get people to your space so that they can actually experience that human experience that you provide, and you have that space for it. And for all of you who want to get to know the information, where to connect with Kaayla, if you had RSVP for the show at zefinitelyconnected.com, and you go under the events tab and you will see this Connected Conversations Live. If you RSVP even now, what you will get is basically access to Kaayla's information, all the video replays, to make sure you go there where I'm putting up right now. Go there, RSVP, even though it says RSVP, the show's done. RSVP anyway, so that you'll get access to the links, all the guest information, so that you can connect. Because I would encourage each and every one of you to build a yes connection with my guests, so that 10, 12 years later, you can come back on my show and talk about it. And you're like, we met Kaayla on Zef's Connected Conversations Live.
I want to take a quick minute and say thank you so much, Zef, for continuing to put one foot in front of the other, continuing to follow your guidance, continuing to open up and be that fierce, beautiful, courageous being that you are, and creating this place of connection, creating this and allowing this to ripple out and just following your guidance. And I'm super grateful to be and honored to be a part of this journey, and just profound gratitude for the divine contribution that you are and that you continue to be. And just, yes, Much love.
Just like you said earlier, just show up. It doesn't
Show
matter
up.
if you look half baked.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You know, we don't
doesn't
care.
matter.
Like, you know, we really don't care. But the important thing is showing up.
You know
is
what?
like
Life is too
number one.
short.
So important, because even like what Jay said earlier, Kaayla, I'm still having my goosies, because I know if y'all are new here, you're trying to figure out like, what is she talking about, Zaf Goosies? In all my shows, I get Zaf Goosies because when I talk, I don't necessarily know what I'm saying, but I'm being nudged or maybe encouraged to speak that content or that language, or just kind of bring it forward. And I get nudged, and I get Zaf Goosey, so I know I'm on the right track of the conversation. What I'm trying to say is that I get nudged, and I just show up. And even Jay said just now, the art of showing up, not everyone understands it, not everyone practices it, even though they know showing up is just like telling the universe or your divine higher power, go like, okay, what are you giving me today? I'm taking on the challenge, because the gift may be in the unknown. Boom. Is that right, Kaayla?
Yes. And it's always about just being open to receiving. And how many of us deflect reception? How many of us gets compliments on their earrings? I tried to tip a woman one time just recently at a restaurant. Sorry, I know you got to wrap this up, but I tried to tip her at this restaurant, and she was like, no. You ordered more than enough food. No. And I said, are you actually refusing a gift from the universe? And she looked at me, and I said, do you know how wonderful I feel when I get to give a gift? And she was like, wow. I said, how do you feel when you give a gift? When you give a tip, you give a compliment, how does that make you feel? And she goes, oh, pretty good. And I said, yeah, why are you keeping that from me? Why are you trying to keep me from having that same gift?
Wow. I shall leave you all at that. In the audiences watching this, because yes, learn to receive, because I think that we don't do that enough. No. Topic for a different show, maybe, Kaayla, another day. We talk about this, the art of receiving. Yes, because the thing is that this is why, and this is how I got here, people. Zefinitely connected conversations live, because I learned to say yes, and I learned to receive. Oh my God, Kaayla, I'm having this goosebumps.
Like, honestly, Zeph, what did you and I connected on Insta? Like, I was leaving for Sedona, and she says, oh, you should be on my, I said, oh, we haven't chatted for a while. How are things going? She's like, oh, you should be on my thing. She starts sending me links on my, I'm leaving for Sedona right now. When are you back? Sunday? She's like, okay, we'll look at it then. I'm like, okay, cheers, sister. I'll be on there. We both just went, yes, like, it'll come together smoothly.
Things will just fall into place.
Together. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't, perfection is such a joke. It doesn't exist. People just show up.
Show
in
up,
your pajamas.
People. All right. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for being a yes connection, for being in my community, vibrant community, and you bringing me into your vibrant community. And there's always a room to grow, to hold space and grace for everybody. So I want to say thank you all for being here, for tuning in. Tomorrow we have 2 more episodes. Until the next time, we'll see you. Bye.
That